Hello everyone, this is Giovany and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Movie Canon. Today I'm being joined by Alex.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about our predictions of Avengers Endgame, which is coming out in about 10 days, right?
10 days away.
About 10 days.
10 days until Cap dies.
We'll be talking about that for sure. But, so these predictions that we're going to do today, they're not going to be based on any of the leaks that we just found out today. Looks like
we're avoiding.
Right. So none of the predictions have anything to do with the leaks. We have not seen them. We have not read about them. So this is just predictions based on prior MCU films and obviously the last film that we saw from the MCU, which is Avengers Infinity War. So we're just going to make our little predictions, who's going to die, who's going to live, who's going to come back a certain way or whatnot. Because, most of them, if not all of them, are going to come back, right? So,
well, actually, the last one we saw was Captain Marvel, right? That came out this year.
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we're also going to talk about what kind of a role Captain Marvel is going to play in Endgame now that you brought up Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And also, something that I was curious about is do all the people who die pre-snap, are those characters officially dead, or could they still come back because they weren't dusted? Those are just some of the things we're going to be talking about today. So let's get the stuff started.
And here we go.
All right, so we're going to start off with some of the characters that we think are going to die in Avengers Endgame. So let's start with you, Alex. So
easy.
I mean, there's only so many characters now compared to how Infinity War began. So just think about just one main Avengers character that is alive that you think very likely is going to die in Avengers Endgame.
That's easy. I've known since Infinity War. I think I said it on a previous podcast that I know for a fact I'm willing to bet money that Cap is gonna die. Like I don't know if I thought he was gonna die in Infinity War, but when I saw he didn't, I'm more than sure that he's gonna die this time around.
So now you really think that Captain America will die in Avengers Endgame?
Yep. I'm willing to bet money on that.
And it's not because Chris Evans' deal with Marvel is over after this movie?
That kind of plays into it too, but I think we've seen before that they renew contracts, or they can do that. But I think this is the end. They said it's the end. This is it. This is the last movie with these original guys. I think that's how they're gonna send it off. I think Cap for sure is gonna die. I'm willing to bet money on that. And yeah. I even said on your last podcast how I thought he was gonna die. I
don't recall.
That he's gonna pick up Thor's hammer and then somehow do something hold Thanos back or something. But I'm almost 100% sure he's gonna pick up the hammer and then somewhere in that scene or in that moment he's gonna die. Thanos is gonna kill him.
Stormbreaker?
No, Thanos.
No,
not Stormbreaker, the old one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that hammer's coming back somehow.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the whole time travel thing is gonna play.
Which I'm not really looking forward to that. I think time travel is kind of like a cop out, but yeah. I don't really see how else this is gonna work out.
Yeah, I don't know. But we've all seen the set pictures, so I think somehow that's gonna come back. But they obviously have to make it in a way where it's not super complicated and it's hard to follow. I think it's gonna be pretty simple, done pretty well. So hopefully that plays out well. But I can. I'm just waiting for after we see the movie, so I can come back and say I was right, because I'm almost 100% sure that was gonna happen.
Now I do think Captain America is gonna die in this movie too, but I also thought he was gonna die in Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw Infinity War and I saw that a lot of the Marvel characters dusted through Thanos' snap, to me it was like, well, the ones that survived are the original Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's me like, oh, well, maybe they're gonna do some kind of a swap in what was then known Avengers 4, that the original Avengers are gonna die, or most of them are gonna somehow die, make some kind of sacrifice, so that the newer ones come back. That's what I initially thought when I first saw Infinity War. I don't really think that now, but I do think some significant Avengers will die in this film.
You think more than one?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think more. I think it's Cap, maybe some throwaway character like War Machine or some shit. But
Some throwaway character, War Machine.
Well, yeah, but I for sure Captain America's gonna die. Maybe someone else. I don't think so. I think it's just gonna be him. Like Thor, I guess, but the one I know is I'm almost sure won't die is Tony. I don't think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Everyone's 50-50 whether it's Cap or Tony. But
So
I have a strong feeling that Tony is like very safe. I feel like he's for sure not gonna die, in my opinion.
So sometimes I look into, as far as the character, right? Like, so what character do I think is going to die? And then I go into the whole business mind. So I'm like, well, let's see. If they kill off Iron Man, that means Robert Downey Jr. is out of the MCU, which means he won't be making any more money for Disney and Marvel Studios. And Iron Man, despite how horrible the last two were, they made a shitload of money.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to Thor. Mm-hmm. Thor has been making more and more money as each movie progressed. Mm-hmm. And the last movie, Thor Ragnarok, made like over $800 million worldwide. So I'm like,
right.
Well, then you think about that, like the money aspect, the business aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And then with that, it's like, that's why I kind of keep going back and forth. But
well, at the same time, I think, if anything, the perfect example to counter that is the Captain America movies, because those, I think Civil War made more money than Ragnarok and more than the Iron Man movies. Same thing with Winter Soldier. That one was
there's something about
success.
There's something about Captain America though. There's something like,
yeah,
it fits because of his character.
Yeah,
it fits because his contract is ending after this.
Yeah,
and then I know Chris Evans wants to do some other stuff. He's been trying to do little small films lately, and I think he wants to like direct and all this other shit. Oh. But mainly is the character, like, it fits perfectly. Captain America sacrificing himself somehow in this type of a scale of a movie in Avengers Endgame.
Well, yeah,
and that's kind of why I think Captain America will die, but then I also thought he was going to die in Infinity War. I know a lot of people thought he was going to die in like the last 3 movies that he was in. Like, oh, he's going to die. People saying he was going to die in Civil War because I guess he dies in the comic or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then they said, oh, he's going to die in Winter Soldier. Like, no, he didn't die. And yeah, I think this is
the people thought he was going to die in Winter Soldier and then like Bucky was going to take over the Captain America.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't really think about it in the business aspect. I mean, I'm sure that'll give some hints, but I don't know. I just have that feeling that Cap for sure is going to die and Tony for sure is safe. And I never really thought about it being more than one that's going to die, but that can make sense. But I have a feeling it's just going to be Cap that dies. And if we are thinking about it in like business aspect or whatever, we know there's another Spider-Man movie. We know that there's a Black Panther, another there's gonna be like a Black Widow or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's a Black Widow movie coming. I think it's coming out. They haven't announced it yet, but I think they're gonna announce it like a month or two after Endgame is out.
Probably like
So that's why I don't think Scarlet. What's her
Black
name?
Widow.
Oh, Black Widow. I'm thinking of Scarlett Johansson. That's Black Widow. That's why I don't think that she's gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess her standalone movie could be a prequel. I guess.
Yeah, that's what the director said in some interview I saw recently when in India where they didn't even say like, because the guy interviewing Joe Russo even said like, well, we know some of these characters are gonna come back because there's another Spider-Man movie and all this, and even Joe Russo said, well, we don't know if the MCU is gonna be linear after Endgame, but I think that's just bullshit.